Oh. Nathan said this entire concrete is on the city side. I guess that's a sign of cleaning the glasses. Unfortunately, it's all city side.
You're good to go.
All right. Guess Tony's gonna be late. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to bring the Columbia City Board of Zoning Appeals April meeting to order. Amanda, roll call, please.
Kathy Gardner.
Here.
Patricia Hatcher.
Here.
John Kissinger.
Here.
Anthony Romano. Dennis Warnick.
Present.
Thank you. Previous meeting minutes, we have November 6th minutes as of today. So if everybody's had a chance to look at those, if there's any questions or make a motion.
I'll make the motion they be approved as presented.
I second that motion.
I have a motion from Dennis and a second from Kathy. All those in favor, raise the right hand. Oppose?
Abstain.
Only one abstain. Thank you. All right, anybody here that's gonna want to speak tonight, please stand up and Greg will swear you in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or, I'm going to start again. Do you swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to offer will be the truth? If so, say I do. I do. Thank you. You may be seated and put your hand down.
Thank you. Nathan, do we have any old business tonight?
Not that I know of.
All right, we're going to move on to new business. First one tonight we have 25-C-VAR-2 K and HC Properties LLC. Variances for the side setback for primary structure and for the surface material of a driveway parking area. And then it'll be at 374, 376 North Oak Street. Nathan, staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So going to the staff report summary here. The variance tonight is at 374, 376 North Oak Street. Both addresses because this is a proposed two-family dwelling. Zone GB general business, which I'll show you in a second why that is. About a quarter acre overall size. What is being proposed is to construct a new two-family dwelling on the lot. The petitioner acquired the subject property as well as the two adjacent properties in 2021, went through the process to vacate a platted alley and split and recombined the overall parcel into the current three properties. He constructed two similar structures on the adjacent properties in 2023 and 2024. The southern one in 23, the northern one along North Street in 24. What is proposed is then in the middle. Also proposed is to install a 20-foot by 40-foot gravel parking area, which would be accessed from the alley to the east. The code standards that apply, two paved off-street parking spaces per dwelling unit are required. The number is not an issue, it's just simply the gravel parking in lieu of paved parking. And then for the structure itself, setbacks are an issue. You can see there the table showing you the setbacks in question. The side setbacks of 10 feet for GB are being proposed to be 4 feet, resulting in a requested variance of 6 feet. I also included in the table the R3 standards. We don't have R3 zoning in the area, but that is the least restrictive residential district that we have, and its minimum side yard is 7 feet. So you can compare that to the GB code requirements as well. Going to aerial view here, as I said, on this aerial, which is the broader view, I also included the zoning districts. The light yellow over here on the right-hand side, all of that is R1. Darker yellow is R2. As I said, R3 doesn't exist in this vicinity. You have R1 again as you go west. And then all of this area is Zone GB general business. This is the former hospital site. We have former doctor's offices up north, and what I have to assume, well, and another former doctor office down here. I have to assume that this property was Zone GB as well as spillover from all of that expectation of offices. This property never was an office until the house was demolished a number of years ago. It was residential, and then the petitioner acquired it, like I said, in 2021. So highlighted there in blue is the subject property. You can see this is from spring of 24. The southern two-family dwelling was still under construction at that point, and the one that was permitted in mid-24 had not yet started construction. This is a site view, site photo that I took last week, I believe, just for reference. Petitioner did mention that the yellow sign had blown away with the storms over the weekend, but there's evidence it was on site. For reference, the southern two-family dwelling, again, what's being proposed is very similar to this, essentially identical footprint. So this is the submitted site plan. You'll see in a second with the overlay, but this does have a deeper setback than the dwelling to the south, resulting in the desire to have the parking area be accessed off of the alley. The setbacks, as shown, are 4 feet north and south. Here's the site plan overlaid, and I added the, in blue there, approximately where the northern dwelling is. I didn't do measuring, but it's approximately there. Outlined in red or highlighted in red is the site plan location of the proposed subject dwelling. Of note too, I didn't mention it yet, this alley is gravel. It does access a couple houses farther south. These immediately adjacent to this site don't use the alley for direct vehicle access, but as you go south, you do have an increasing number of residences that access it. Going to the review criteria, staff doesn't feel that there would be particular injury to the public health, safety, and morals, primarily because the building separation would still be sufficient because the southern building and the northern building both comply with the GB standard of 10 feet. 10 feet combined with the proposed 4 feet results in a 14-foot minimum separation. And again, going back to the R3 standard, if this was R3, we'd require 14-foot building separation. So keeping that in mind, the overall effect probably wouldn't be particularly injurious to health, safety, and morals. One thing, though, is that when you reduce a setback less than 5 feet, the building code does require increased fire ratings. And I believe the petitioner does know that to include in their building plans. And that is a component of the building code. Staff doesn't feel that there would be any injury to health, safety, and morals caused by the gravel parking. Again, the gravel parking would be accessing a gravel alley. However, unless you find specific difficulties specific to this site, you could run into injuring the general welfare by overall degradation of the zoning code. Use and value of the area. Staff doesn't feel that the setback variance would necessarily affect the immediately adjacent area because the petitioner owns the 2 properties that would be most affected by the setback variance. The visual separation would be comparable to other homes in the area, so overall probably would not be a substantial impact on values because of that. The impact on use, however, there could be some impact, again, because you're reducing down the side setback below what we'd normally expect, which could cause the need for accessing adjacent properties and so on. Because the petitioner does own the 2 immediately adjacent properties that would be most affected right now, probably not going to be an issue long term. It could be more substantial, but whether it is truly fully substantial is going to be up to you. The proposed gravel parking lot, or parking area, excuse me, would have some aesthetic impacts, could affect overall value. However, driveways throughout the entire neighborhood are gravel. The alley is gravel. It is on the alley side, not the front side where it's most visible. So there could be some impact on value in staff's opinion, probably not substantial, and there wouldn't be any likely impact on use because of the gravel parking area. Strict application of the code, I think this might be where more of the thought might be put into. The petitioner developed these 3 parcels together, did have the option of realigning the lot lines to suit the building, to rearrange the building to suit the lot. So a couple different opportunities there to make compliance. So that does weigh into this. GB does have higher standards of setbacks than our other residential districts, our R2 and R3, excuse me, which require that 7-foot or 8-foot side setbacks. GB requires 10. So there is a bit of a difficulty there, but again, reducing it down to 4 from 7 even would still require variance. Let's see. So that would be the setback component of it. Looking at the gravel driveway component, staff does feel like there could be some practical difficulties there. You would be accessing, again, a gravel alley. Quite a few other driveways in the area are gravel as well. So it does seem like requiring a paved parking area and driveway for this particular lot may not be consistent with the overall area. So there may be some practical difficulty for that. But again, you could say that's the code. We're trying to push forward with more and more compliance with the code. So either viewpoint, I would say staff could get behind. So with that summary, any questions for me?
I don't believe so. Would the petition like to come to the podium, state your name and address, and just kind of fill us in on any other information that Nathan didn't give us?
All right, I'm Heather Kofelt, 1890 East, 250 North, Columbia City.
Keith Gofelt, 1890 East, 250 North, Columbia City.
So the reason that we're doing it, there's a couple different reasons. One, the house, the original farmhouse that was built is going to be, it's kind of right where those numbers are in front of that red house, or the red overlay.
To the west.
And yeah, and along Oak Drive. And so we're not sure where they put that house, if they buried any of it, or if they, took it away. So we did not want to put a cement structure on top of that, because if it settles, it's going to break, it's going to crack. The other reason we want to come off the back end is because we are kind of close to that stop sign. That was the other reason we turned the one that's facing the north to the north, is so that there wouldn't be driveways right by. And also we wanted to do aesthetic reasons. I didn't want it to look like a jail where all the houses are lined up. So that is why we ended up turning the one and changing the colors, just to make sure that it looks like housing versus like businesses. The other thing is, on the very first one that we built that is occupied, we were given permission to do a gravel parking lot in the back. But from what?
From the city.
From the city. But I wanted a bigger backyard for the tenants, so I asked them to put it in the front yard instead. So that is why we have the front one as a parking space for the tenants. The other part is, let me tell that part. You have to tell that part, I don't know that. And then I counted up, like he was saying, all the houses in the area or in this block. There's 8 gravel, 1 full cement, 1 that's like broken cement, 4 that have both cement and gravel out of the 14. The ones directly in our space on that alley, the one directly behind the blue one, that's all gravel coming off of North Street there. The one next to it with the pool, that one is, I don't know if it's cement or tar, but it is hard surface. And then the one next to it is gravel as well. The house right next door to the one that is already up there is gravel. That person that owns that property are the ones that we actually bought from, are my friends. So eventually we want to acquire that one. So, but that one's gravel as well.
We didn't make it a subdivision. It was already a subdivision. The only thing we did was took out the alley in between the middle one and the one towards the south. There was an alley in between them, and we put part of the alley to the one to make it code We put a little bit towards the other one, but there wasn't enough to make it. We kind of want to keep with them house plan that we already got. It was already G, whatever that is. We didn't change that neither. The only thing we did was took out the alley in between the two.
Both this unit and the one to the south are the exact same size.
All three of them will be the
All three
same
of
Okay,
size.
so I guess was you always planning on, I guess, the three? I guess my question is, what happened that you didn't try to set them in there to where
They're all
they
facing
were
the same.
more on their lots and not having to, because evidently the center lot must be a lot narrower than the
Yes.
south lot.
The south lot we added was able to add the alley to it. There was an alley in between the two.
Okay.
We took part of that
I see
alley
that
to make
part.
it. So and then we took the rest, put it on that side. Whatever it needed to be, we made it so it would be that out of the alley. Because the alley didn't go nowhere. I mean, it was just grass. I mowed it.
And are you going to have a sidewalk from the Oak Street all the way up to the front?
According
For the
to
house?
the city, the sidewalk is going to be on the other side of the street. I don't have to put one there. I do on North Street, but not on Oak. There's no sidewalks, but
I
eventually,
mean, a sidewalk to get up to the house
from where? From what?
from the Oak Street. Is the front door going to be facing Oak
Oh
Street?
yeah. We'll have something going up there. Yes.
Okay. More than stone? Because
Yes,
the houses
yes,
to the
yes,
south have
yes.
stone. There's a stone gap between the concrete and the sidewalk.
Yeah, that was just for. There's a sidewalk too, but we put to kind of set it off. Good thing we did because the people who live there, they got a diesel.
Well, I
They
know
were-
they're
they were
parked
the-
there now, and there's the front tires are set in stone.
They wanted to set it in the stone because it leaks oil.
Mhm.
They didn't want no new concrete.
And then also,
That the
They-
one on the south.
Yeah.
They have a pickup. Not that one. That one stays on the driveway. But the other one's got a pickup.
Well, I don't care how they leak oil or not. I'm saying, are you planning on?
there's gonna be bushes and stuff because they moved in January and December. So our plan was in the summer, but we did not get it done in time. So right now there isn't any kind of bushes or grass or anything
Right.
in there.
But are you going to connect the concrete
Yes, we're gonna put
from the door to the concrete where the cars
yes,
sit?
from the sidewalk from the door to the driveway where that van is.
Okay.
We're gonna extend it out, so it'll be a path.
Because we're not allowed to have any stone in the front yard.
We're not.
Gravel stones. It has to be hard surface.
Well, the code says that you're just not allowed any gravel driveway unless it's over 75 feet long anywhere, whether it be rear or front yards.
They weren't supposed to park and have them guys back out if you don't want them to park here, and I'll put some rocks up there. If they just ask for they wouldn't park. I mean, if you want them to park on the concrete, I can make them park on the concrete. And we put boulders in there to keep them out of that decorative stone there.
I have just a couple comments regarding the question. Nathan, can you go back to the survey drawing, please?
That one?
No, the one with the colors that has the aerial. There you go. So my question is, when you bought the property in 2021, and then you vacated the alley, and then you basically had a blank slate, okay? So then in your planning stage, did you figure that we want to do 3 units and each unit is going to be the 24 by 64? And did you figure how you were going to lay them in prior to starting the construction of the south unit? Or was it once you did the south unit, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now we got to turn the one at the north to run parallel with North Street, and then which then is going to have us an issue with the center unit. Is that kind of
Yeah.
how it's come about?
Yes, because originally we was going to turn that one that's facing north the other way, but there's a stop sign there,
Mhm.
so we had to worry about that.
And then just aesthetic wise.
Aesthetic wise, yeah, we want the house
Just-
face. We could turn them sideways, but they'll be looking at each other. We'd rather have them looking towards the road on that red one. If we turned it, it would fit, but then the front of the house would be looking to one of the other houses.
I think that was one of my first concerns was when you bought the property, and then you vacated the alley, then you had 3 lots that you basically had a blank slate where then you could figure out what kind of unit actually would fit in there appropriately and then how you wanted to do it. So I guess it was, to me, kind of poor planning, I guess, in the begin with, try to figure out what best unit to fit those lots appropriately to give you the proper setbacks. The thing about it is too, I'm not in favor of the gravel drives, okay? This is a new development. I mean, you completely, all of the older structures were removed. This is something new. These are brand new units that you're setting in there. So I think that they need to be finished nicely, because even though there's all of these other residences within that area that have current gravel drives, they've had current gravel drives. To me, I think you're setting a precedence by saying we're doing better here. We want this to look nice. I think too, your tenants then, in having concrete driveways and sidewalks, are going to have more appreciation for your units as well. So those are just kind of a couple of things that I felt.
To tag along a little bit with that, I'd rather see the concrete driveways stay in the front if they're gonna be on this unit, because I live not far from there. The city doesn't clean the alleys in the wintertime. The alleys are the last thing that gets plowed.
Mm-hmm.
So they might or might not be able to get into their residence.
So we put it up front of us.
Well, and you
Just
can't
my
shovel,
opinion.
You can't shovel gravel either.
No, it's hard.
You can't do it.
And the city didn't come back and say that you can't put your drives off of Oak Street because you're too close to the stop sign. Nothing was said to that. You were just thinking more about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first one, that one on North Street, that's when we turned it to face North Street
Yeah.
because it's too close to the stop sign.
Okay.
And then, like with the red one, the only reason why is, again, where the numbers are off of Oak Street, that's where the original farmhouse was. So
Heavy day, soil board?
No.
Soil boring there.
So I mean, we can put it there, and then do
now,
a sidewalk.
see the first one on Oak Street, that's lined up with the hospital, whatever.
Right.
And the middle one, we're trying to line it up with that yellow, the next house
To the south.
To the south,
Mhm.
that yellow house. That's the reason that's the reason we're pushing it back and kind of line up with the house instead of the business. I thought the business would be better. Now we're thinking the house would be better to line it up with the house that's already there.
Is there any
It's R1.
future plans to put one where that house is at? Another one?
That's where that house? No, we don't think so.
Which one?
You're talking about we don't own that one yet. We don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't.
It would stay that she
we
just
would-
remodeled
we
that
don't know.
inside.
Yeah, they just redid it, so I don't know.
Well, there's nobody that lives there. I don't believe it hasn't been lived in the last year and a half.
Ever since I started that one, I don't know what she's doing. We're working on it. We're working.
The side.
The side is.
But the inside's only probably like a year old from when the tenants lived in it.
We think we could fix that one up rather than,
That's what I thought too.
but we don't know it yet. We don't know yet. The way things are going, who knows?
May not buy it.
We may not get it.
You have no intentions of putting garages at any time? I'm just curious. Had you
No,
thought
it's a
about that?
rental. I'm afraid they'll just fill it up on me. Not a
Okay.
big mess.
We have sheds at our other ones.
We plan on putting utility sheds in for stuff, but not a garage.
When there's grass put in, they will be maintained by you or by the resident?
We're not sure yet. Right now it's a resident, but we might have to mow it too. I don't know yet.
There's no garage for a lawnmower.
No, there's gonna be a little shed.
That's why we're
A
putting
little
sheds in.
shed.
I'd build another one over on
Quessy.
Quessy Street, just diagonal from the trailer park, Atkins Trailer Park.
Yeah.
It's identical.
That's
to
identical
these.
to these. That's where I got my plan from.
We tore down a really old 1800 house that was
It's right at
falling
the
in,
corner of Cowan and Quessy Street.
and then we built that one. And then again, we didn't do garages. We got sheds so they couldn't just fill it up with garbage. And that way it's easier. And then they still have stuff to put bikes and lawn mowers and things they need in the yard.
We feel the younger generation don't wanna own. They wanna rent, they don't wanna maintain it.
So we're probably gonna,
That's what we've been looking at. And we're not having problems filling them.
Oh. Canby City.
but yeah, as far as the upkeep goes, we haven't decided if we're gonna have them do it, 'cause it just hasn't been a concern yet. Our other ones, they take care of it themselves. The one on Jackson Street, they take care of, and it's a huge yard. But with this one, as far as the way the land is laid out, it might be something that's just cheaper if we have the guy that was taking care of it just keep taking care of it, because he can just go through there pretty easy and mow.
Did the unit to the south, the first one that you put up, does it meet the setback requirements from that
Yes.
north property
From
line?
everything. Yes. Yes, 10 foot on
On the north side
North.
there?
north and side, but south both. With adding the alley to it, that helped me out.
Mm-hmm. Just curious, do you have a design that's Plan B that would be a little different than
Turn it
this one?
side, it'll fit sideways.
Well-
Turn it sideways.
Yeah.
You don't, it'll be code then.
I
We
think
just don't want
what
to-
Kathy's saying is
We don't,
a little bit different
No,
design.
we don't have
little bit-
no.
We don't have a plan B on our structure.
Yes.
A little deeper, less width.
Right, no.
Yeah.
We looked at them before, we still couldn't find one we liked.
And most of them, they want to go 2-story if you're
Yeah, they
going
wanted a
thinner.
two-story.
Yeah, and I wouldn't turn it to go east and west, definitely.
We already got the plan, I kind of want to keep them, that'll be my fourth one, I kind of want to keep them the same, so other than the colors and stuff. So everything, when I tell somebody to go look at this, it's all in the same spot, because they're all the same, except for the colors. We changed the colors.
And you've talked to Craig about the fact that you will have to have the fire rating?
Yes,
So you,
I got to talk to him a little bit more to find out, to verify what exactly
mhm.
I gotta have, but yes, it'll be, I've been talking to him, but I haven't really talked to him, I talked to Amanda through this whole process, I've been talking to everybody I can talk to.
Mhm.
I'm actually trying to do it myself. I'm learning a lot. Any other questions I can help
I
you
was gonna
out?
say, does anybody else got any questions for the petitioner? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Is there anyone else in the audience that'd like to speak on behalf of the petitioner?
Well, I'm not the petitioner, I'm the other.
On behalf of the petitioner, for the petitioner.
Yep.
Is there anyone here that'd like to speak against the petitioner? Please,
No.
please come to the podium, state your name and address.
My name's Junie Krantz, and I live directly behind the red building where the pool is, or was, I should say. I took down the pool. Now, there's some things that need to be corrected. My driveway is blacktop, totally, okay? The alley, I've lived at, that house has been in my family for 60 years. Never. It was all grapevine. Grapes. It was like huge, probably as big as this room. So there was never an alley. Never.
The one we vacated, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an alley, but they always mowed. That's the reason we vacated.
There was nothing there. They couldn't drive through it.
Right, but it's still
Okay.
it's an alley.
Well, I just know that when we owned our property at the lake, they had a road coming clear along the, and there was no road there. So, injurious? Yes. If you have COPD, any kind of breathing, asthma, the dust that flies down that alley. Because there are a couple, 3 people further past me that use it 100 times a day, and I am not kidding you. The wheels on them cars never cool off.
And they don't go slow if they're
No.
cars.
No. Nope. I got rid of my pool because of the alley. Cause all the sediment landed in my pool. And that's all I did was clean it out. And that pool was new, brand spanking new. So, I know he's going to build them. 2/3 are done. I don't like the driveway. I don't like the parking lot. I don't like the driveway. That just adds to more usage. And they're right. They don't plow the valleys. They don't. I mean, maybe after half of it melts off after a week or two. But I don't think from above that looks aesthetic to me, but that's just my opinion. So, and we do use our backyard. We do drive in it because we sell firewood sometimes. So, that's really about it. All of that's changed since I was a kid. So, but when they get ready, they're going to be putting a whole bunch of apartments and all the old hospital area is what I had heard.
I don't think there's any plans for anything at the moment.
They stopped that? I know there's a few people stopping it, trying to stop it.
There were never plans for an apartment in that area. It was single and two family have been the most recent
I thought
plans.
it was for the handicapped.
It was owned by Passages, still is owned by the successor to Passages, but they were not planning on apartments. It was going to be a mix of residences.
Well, that's good because I like watching the deer. So they go over there and play. That's my concern is it's the parking and off of the alley. I can't stop nothing else, but I can have a say about that. So.
Thank you.
And also I do have a shed there.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone else here who wishes to speak against the petitioner? Hearing none, I close the floor and open to board discussion.
Do they get a chance to rebut if they want? The petitioner does.
Sure.
Am I wrong or am I right?
That you
The
can open
petitioner-
it back up to 50.
Okay. You're good? Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
I'm not ready to make a motion, but I would think that we'd be better off to stay with driveways from the front rather than from the alley. That's probably the biggest thing on my agenda. I figure Kathy's probably got some other stuff.
Well, I agree with that, Dennis. I'd like to see the driveways off of Oak and completely concreted driveways. And also too, in thinking about this one, in order to move the unit, the red unit, I'm going to call it, as we're looking at this picture, and to move it to the west or towards Oak Street to line up with the unit to the south, that even though it's going to have the same setback, 14-foot separation, having it back like that, to me, just gives a little bit more separation from the unit. See what I'm saying? Even though it doesn't line up aesthetically pleasing, north and south, at least having it set towards the east does just give a little bit more room between the two units.
Plus, I think if they was in line, there would be a greater fire hazard if something, God forbid, would happen.
Yeah.
Nathan, if they could get that changed to R3, and they actually changed the property line, even if they were sitting side by side, that would basically eliminate the extra fire protection on the wall, outside wall, wouldn't it?
If you rezoned the properties to R3, that would change the required setback to 7 feet, and then you would be able to change the property line to be the middle of what is 14-foot separation, make it compliant, and yes, the 5-foot building code is measured from the wall to the property line, so effectively moving the property line changes what your measurement. So it would take some work to get there, but it could be possible.
Okay. That would be irrelevant to it. I mean, they could leave the building even in the same spot.
Right. It would be changing the property line between the two.
Aesthetically, by offsetting them, it gives it a little more definition. Curb appeal to somewhat too. But I'm also in agreement. I would like to see the front of the house to keep parking in front.
Can I ask a question? Or is it too late?
No, go ahead.
So, would it be easier than for us just to, I mean, I can line them up, but when you're looking at it, it's just having different, stop. If we move the house up and make them even and come off the driveway that way, is that better? Like to make them,
as far as moving the house east and west, but or more to the west is not kind of. I mean, that doesn't. I have no preference there. That's
Okay.
that's on you. I guess that's your preference of where it sets. I mean, offsetting, and I agree a little bit with you that aesthetically, it's a little more appealing. It's not like it's so you don't just have rows and rows of houses. But as far as parking in front, if you got people that are visiting or whatnot, to get them to the front of the house instead of coming into the laundry room, if they're parking in back, are they going to walk around the house, or or are you going to have people trying to park on the street, or so I just my personal opinion there as well is that parking for me, I like to see it in the front.
We could put it in front. On GB to R3, the thin house is blank, so all I gotta do is, I think it's, what I understand is fire rated plywood, so that's not gonna affect how the house looks.
Right. Oh, I know that.
Whether they
I know
go
that.
G3 or whatever it is.
Oh, I know that. I just saying going to the G3,
It's still
it kind of
not-
helps. It
It
helps.
still needs a variance though.
Well, if it was G3 and you move the parking line, we wouldn't even. The only reason why you'd be here is before the gravel parking lot in the back.
because I don't think there's parking on the street either.
There's
So
only,
there's not parking. You need actually a driveway.
there's only, I thought you had to be, oh, it is only 7 foot, isn't it?
Right.
So, just to remind the board and everyone else, the location of the parking area really isn't the variance, it's the surface. And so the locating it off the alley is okay by the code and street department. And it's just the surface of it, of whether it's hard surface, concrete, or asphalt, or gravel. And based upon what's being proposed, if it's off gravel alley, it makes sense to be gravel. If it was off Oak Street, it'd be concrete, but it could be concrete off of the gravel alley. Again, placement isn't really the nature of the variance. It may feed into your discussion. That's why Craig and I have kind of let this go for exploring that option. But I just want to make sure it was clear that we're still talking about the material variance.
Which material we're using? Does anyone else have any questions for discuss or Nathan or? All right. If there's no more discussion, do I have someone to make a motion?
I'd make a motion for the approval. 25C-VAR-2 with hard surface driveways to the Oak Street side. And you guys help me out if there's anything else you wanna add into that.
I think he just said we can't do that, right?
Well,
You could certainly deny the request for the gravel driveway off the alley, or deny the request for a gravel driveway. I don't know that you can tell them which side to put it on. You can, if you want to establish that you would, that you would prefer paved driveway, you can do that. But I don't know that you can
We can't
dictate
redefine it.
where the driveway is.
yeah, and you,
I agree with that.
I guess, if ultimately, if the petitioner's okay with it, it's kind of a moot point. So if you wanna work with them and.
here? Why are
That's all right.
then? It's a moot point.
Well, no, that's all right. Let us discuss this, please.
Yeah, so,
So it's basically what you, Dennis, you would like to see hard surface.
Hard
We're
surface.
okay with the 4 foot setback off the property line.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So we have a motion from Dennis to basically approve the petitioner's request, but requesting a hard surface be done in the parking lot coming off the alley to the east.
actually, Mr. Chairman, hang on one more second. Greg, because they have essentially a approval motion on one part of the variance and effectively a denial of the other part, should these be separate motions?
It probably makes sense to break that up. So why don't we first of all deal with if you're going to deny allowing the gravel driveway, to deny that, or conversely just to grant the setback variance, and we'll split those up.
Okay.
Okay, so I will change the first motion to
Well, you could just-
deny the gravel driveway.
I second that.
I have a motion to deny the second driveway, or the
Gravel driveway.
gravel driveway, and a second from Kathy. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? Okay, motion passes for hard surface driveway.
Now we need a motion
To approve the setback
to
variances.
approve the setback variance as stated. That's the 4 foot, right?
That's correct. That's what's stated. 4 foot from the north and the south. So does the board have any more discussion? Any questions for Nathan?
Do you have a second?
Do I have a second? Hearing no second. I'll open it back to the board for board discussion.
The
What's
motion
your-
failed, so yeah, there'll be more discussion and hopefully somebody will make
I'm
another
very new
motion.
at this.
You're very new at this.
So may I ask counsel, if I seconded that motion, could I then not vote in favor of it?
Technically, yeah.
Okay,
You could second it just to take it to a vote, sure.
Put the motion back on the table then. I have a motion from Dennis
and I second that motion,
and a second from Kathy for the
setback.
acceptance of the 4-foot setbacks from the north and south side of the building. All those in favor raise your right hand. Opposed? Motion does not pass.
I'm sorry, I just feel like it's too close. So
Oh,
I just really.
hold on. That's just the motion to approve failed. You still have to take affirmative or positive action on some motion. So your remaining options would be approve with conditions, to continue, or to outright deny.
What setbacks are, Kathy, are you feeling like would be acceptable? I guess the other option, and you'd have to get with Nathan and Amanda, to ask for a rezoning to an R3 and then manipulate the property lines.
I don't think he's gonna have enough, still not a lot.
That would give us 14 feet.
Turn it lengthwise. I think that's gonna look much worse. It's gonna look much worse if you turn it sideways.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's totally up to you. I guess we're just, and what Kathy kind of hit on at the very beginning. I know you kind of hit all these other places that have existing, that have some of the driveways and such that you is going to match. And what we've been trying to do is, as development happens through the city, with our ordinance that are in place, so as new things are built and new things that are coming, we're trying to follow our guidelines more and not repeat what people's done 10, 15, 20 years ago. We're just trying to put a standard of, okay, as we're moving forward, let's move to that next level of appearance and having standards, higher standards. And it's nothing against you guys, what you're trying to do, and I understand the other lots in the area are gravel and such, but for us, we kind of
we park, so that's not a problem. Just not be moving the back since it's all for gravel.
so that's kind of why
I get
our
that
decisions
part.
are made.
Yeah. The reason for the pavement is so the stones don't get on your roads.
Right.
So on the back, I was thinking, well, instead of having stones come to my way,
Right.
I'll put a stone. But I don't have a problem with the hard surface in the back.
But
And I don't
like
have a problem turning it either. I mean, it don't, because I'm not living there. It's a road.
Right.
I'm trying to do the right things.
Right.
But
I know. I understand.
I can only do so much.
I understand.
What do you want me to do? Try. I could have just turned it, but not even said anything. You don't try.
Right.
So have they denied the request?
Okay, so
So I think what you're looking for probably is for a motion to deny the variance request.
Or again,
Or grant it with conditions.
grant it with conditions or continue it. You are down one member. Maybe having that fifth member might offer another perspective.
Could we continue it and see if the petitioner could talk with you about getting the zoning changed?
Uh,
I don't think he wants to go that route.
yeah, I think he just said that he doesn't want to go that route. But
Okay.
yes, you could continue it. Period.
I'll make the motion, we continue it 30 days.
I'll second that.
I have a motion to continue this to the next regular meeting, and I have a second from Kathy. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Guess we'll see you.
Sorry to slow you down.
Just go right out there. Still working on one.
It's gonna be wetter tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if we choose to turn it, we don't have to come back in 30 days. Is that what we're at?
If you make it compliant with the setbacks, then the need for the variances is not.
It'll fit sideways, right? You guys told him that, right?
I believe, yes.
Yeah, if you eliminate the setback issue and use paid parking, then yeah, then we've eliminated all the issues too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we need to-
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, I do too, but thank you.
All right. Let's look at the next new order of business. We're at 25-C-VAR-2, Lincolnway Church of Christ. Variance of the parking code regarding surface material and other design requirements. 600 West Lincolnway. Petitioner, please.
Did you say two?
Oh,
I thought this was
Nathan.
three.
Nathan. Staff report. Thank God. You got it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for remembering me.
Well, I heard you talk a lot last.
I'll make this one a little quicker. This case is 600 West Lincoln Way, which is the Lincoln Way Church of Christ is the applicant. It too is zoned GB general business, just like the last case. The overall site is 1.42 acres. The church does own another lot, but that's not included in this overall acreage. What is being proposed is to expand their existing gravel parking lot, which is legal non-conforming, expand that to the east of the existing area, and they're requesting to defer the paving and landscaping that's required by the code to the time of a future building expansion. They are planning to expand the church to the east, and so they need parking now. They'd rather have gravel parking rather than placing pavement where where this future building would go. As stated with previous case, the parking code requires parking lots to be paved along with perimeter and internal landscaping. Going to the aerial view, overall aerial view highlighted there in blue are the two subject properties, and again, the church does own the parcel to the north, but that doesn't come into question here, or into play here. Closer view. This is the proposed site plan showing approximately the layout. I don't think you can get gravel quite as sharp of corners as what's shown on the site plan, but generally showing where it would go. So this area here. And as I understand it, the proposed church expansion would be located in this vicinity. Petitioner can correct me if I'm off on that one. Approximate overlay of the site plan on the aerial. Because of the site plan, it's not quite as precise as I sometimes can make it, but again, general reference for everybody's sake. Going to the review criteria, doesn't seem that the request would be injurious to public health, safety, morals. The parking surface by itself really wouldn't be a big factor in those aspects, and especially since it is an expansion of an existing legal non-conforming gravel area. Use and value, highly unlikely that it would impact the surrounding use of any of the properties. Value, you could make a case that the aesthetic impacts of an increased gravel parking lot could have some impact on the value of surrounding properties, particularly if this was brand new, but as an extension of an existing legal non-conforming gravel lot with the plan to pave it in the future, that likely would not be as substantial of an impact as if it were new. Landscape buffer, also figures into it, if landscaping was part of this, it would help to screen the gravel. However, that is part of the variance, so that does weigh into it too. Finally, the strict application resulting in practical difficulty. In this particular case, because of their plan to place a building where the parking would be going, and then at that time rearrange the parking, pave it, add the landscaping as one big project, subject to development plan review and approval, it does seem like the code doesn't offer an avenue that exactly lines up with that sequence of plans and that timing of it. That said, code is still the code, as I mentioned before, and still we're looking at increasing compliance overall. If you do look at approval, however, I do want to suggest the conditions that the variance would be granted as presented and based upon that site plan, so that we are clear that what would be gravel and we don't have a continual expansion of gravel. And then number two, I won't read that verbatim, but number two, that the installation be tied back to the expansion of the building along with the development plan process, as well as the landscaping. You may, I did not include it in what I wrote up here, but you may want to add in another part to number two and actually have a set time frame. So for example, it would be with development plan or 5 years or 7 years, whichever comes first, as you may see fit. And I let you work with the petitioner on that one. I didn't include it here because I wanted to, again, tie it back to the building that's proposed.
Okay.
Any questions for me?
I don't believe so. Now, can I say it now?
You may.
Will the petitioner please come to the podium and state their name and address and kind of fill us in? Any other information, please?
My current address or
Yes.
my, oh, okay.
Yep.
Brian Boos, well, current address is Warsaw, Indiana, 615 South, 325 East, Warsaw, Indiana. Have a store here, 402 South Main Street, Columbia City. The goal is to, we would like to expand our parking. We are currently, for the safety of our members, are pretty max capacity in our parking lot currently. We would like to expand our building because we are growing. We're a growing congregation, and we are in need of some more parking. So that is the reason for this today, is to expand the parking and to make the pad for the new building expansion.
Okay, so the building is coming not too long down the road?
We would like for it to come sooner rather than later. Yes. Yes. We've
Yeah,
been in I'm sorry.
Like a projected timeline, depending on donations.
2 years?
We would, well, we're in the process. We've got plans. We've been in contact with contractors. We would like to be in construction within the next year or 2 to 5 years. Hopefully less than 5 years. But we're currently saving up and getting funds. We would like to have enough to where we don't have to take a loan out, or minimal loan, to have our new expansion. And so, but yeah, we've been in contact with several contractors and gotten estimates, and we have drawings for the new expansion. And yeah.
You just got to be an addition to the building.
This would be an addition attached to the current building. Okay. Yes, it would come off of the east side of the building. I can.
Just go over.
You need to come up and state your name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Please.
Would you like me to show you?
You can double team it, Max.
Everybody's figured it out. This is my son. I'm Max Boos. And
The building expansion would come off connected with a hallway. This shed will not be there as of in a few weeks.
Few months.
I would say. A couple months, because we currently have a new shed up there. But this will come into a hallway and the new building expansion will run along with
Okay.
this road
Parallel
right
with
here. Yes.
Lincoln.
So the new expansion will be,
Okay.
I believe it's 45 by, or maybe 50 by 90,
Okay.
roughly. For a new sanctuary.
Okay.
Where
And then the old building's gonna be turned into
This-
classrooms.
this will be
Okay.
turned into classrooms, and that's why they need
Okay.
the hallway
Okay.
to connect them, so kids can come from their classrooms to the new sanctuary.
Do you have any plans of putting anything down on the gravel for like dust protection? That would be, I guess, if you're got more cars and it happens to be a windy day or whatever. I mean, I can see where you'll create some dust.
What would that be, like calcium?
Oil or calcium. I don't know, whatever you.
We got limestone on there now, the white is hauled in, or excuse me, Jeff Corn did the last load. White between them, they've all kept up that parking lot, but.
Have you ever
Really,
noticed that, Max?
it's
Have you
not-
ever noticed dust from?
I never have,
People are-
because no one comes flying through.
It's not
You're
really,
coming to enter in the parking lot, and right now, it's kind of, the elderly are angle parking along here. So when you angle park here, it narrows
Narrows
the
it down.
entrance.
Slow
So,
people
and
down.
we have lots of children. So people tend to drive really slow through there. We just don't want them hit. That's why we're trying to get more parking.
it's not a really high speed area, I mean, it's not a
We'll
very,
excavate this land down to get it ready for
Building pad.
erection, and so they'll bring that down here to bring this up and make this area more parking.
Does everything kind of slope towards Lincolnway there?
they're currently,
Towards Niblock, the old Niblock.
Okay.
Or what is that? I call it Old 30.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
south side?
Yeah,
I
Old 30.
believe, was this, correct me if I'm wrong, was a
Yeah.
railroad?
No, it was a road.
That was,
And so this
At
area
what
is
time?
low, and this area is low, but this area is high.
So for the young people, don't remember, that was all swamp. Remember that corner?
Flat
Years
road.
ago?
And
That was
make it
swamp.
to grade.
And the B&K was across where
Yeah.
Niblock was? Oh, you remember.
That's before my time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're much younger than
No,
I
I
am.
didn't live here.
Greg, you remember that?
Yes.
Greg's from Mount McKenzie, he don't know about that.
Oh, that's right.
I'm
too.
from Tunker, I don't know anything.
That's right.
They'll have a little
I'm
more
from Vigo County, farther away.
So,
runoff if it goes towards Old 30. Okay.
we have, are you talking about water runoff?
Yeah.
We have tiled, years ago. I don't know if you remember, this used to be such a steep ditch. We used to push mow that. And I mean, and then we got riders to slide down it. Well, we've tiled that. There's a tile here and it goes all the way down to here and we tile through here, for the city. So there's a pretty good size orange, corrugated pipe there. So it already runs down and it drains. We can mow it anytime.
Okay.
So there is no.
So it drains over into
No
Phillips
problem.
ditch then, under the
Excuse
road. It drains under the road into Phillips ditch, I assume,
Goes south.
goes to the south.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. I know what you're talking about now because there's like a river.
Yeah, that's Phillips ditch.
Yep. There you go. Yes.
And then your lot, then on to the east, that's Mission 25, and
At this moment,
yeah, not for
We
much
purchased-
longer.
Yeah, we purchased this. Well, yeah, this from them. Yeah. We were interested in the rest of it, but
Yeah, their building's about done.
So if you're
yeah, it
interested,
tore down.
if
Yeah,
you're
that's what everybody
interested in the
said.
rest,
Then you gotta tear it down. You can
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, you're fine, you're fine. If you're interested in the rest, so purchasing that will take funds, so does that hamper your building plan then?
Well,
Or put it
we
back farther?
we were hoping at a good price, but it didn't come in at that good a price, right? Yeah. It was. So then we go, okay, we can. So what we're wanting to do, like Brian said, with that changed gears, and that's why that building will go this way, and then we'll have.
Yeah.
I see what yeah, but still.
Yeah.
And my reason for asking that was, I really do feel like we need to have a time frame in our condition for this to be accomplished, okay? So, that's why.
For driveway expansion.
Pardon?
Both.
Well, once you start, I would say once you pull the permit to start your expansion, the parking lot then will be, the paving of the parking lot will be a part of that project when in fact you get the building completed.
You don't wanna put, and that's why we've talked about this in the congregational meeting, you don't wanna really put new asphalt down and have concrete trucks driving
Right.
and messing up your whole parking lot.
Mhm.
I mean, that base has been there, a lot of that base has been there
20 years.
since when I started attending there, 83.
So
So
40
84.
years.
84. So,
And they could always come back and ask for an extension.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, yeah.
we're asking for, yes, we do have quite a bit of funds towards that project. Yes, the bids are still coming in from different contractors. So, yes, we kind of have an idea, but we're still working on towards that. But for now, like I said, we're just so packed in there. Cars, we're of attendance of 120. Yes, 120. So you're sitting there going, we're already going, okay, what could we do? We're knocking. I'm probably telling you more than you need. Yeah. Sorry, Brian. I didn't take this over, but we're knocking out a classroom to get more auditorium for more people to sit, because it discourages people
Right.
when you're wall to wall.
Right.
So
You walk into a full room, it's hard to.
So can I say, I'm gonna build tomorrow or next week? We're trying, but for the time being, we're going this route, getting it. And I said, it doesn't make sense to not excavate where you're gonna put the building when the excavator's there to bring that dirt down to help the parking lot. Let's do that while we can. That's out of the way. And so we're very, very serious and anxious to get this whole project done. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Does anybody else have any questions for the petitioner?
work with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, is there anyone else sitting in the crowd that would like to speak on behalf of the petitioner? Is there anyone like to speak against the petition? Hearing none, I close the floor. Open it to a board discussion or a motion.
If there's no more discussion, I'll make a motion.
All right, Kathy, make us a motion.
I'd like to make a motion on 25C Variance 3 to approve the gravel parking lot for a period of 2 years, at which time it is either to be of a solid surface or come back before the board for an extension of that approval.
Second.
I have a motion from Kathy and a second from Dennis. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Good luck. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
A growing church is great.
Hold on just a minute.
One bit of clarification, landscaping is also included in that
Yes.
motion. So it's a deferral of both surface
both.
and landscaping for a period of 2 years,
That's correct.
Right,
which
yes.
can be renewed. Okay.
Mhm, yeah.
Do we need to take more
Because they
formal
will,
action or?
they will have a development
No, I
plan.
think it's, Kathy, that was what you intended in your motion, and who seconded? And
Dennis.
that was what you intended for the second, and everyone who voted? Okay.
Okay. Cool.
And potentially both of those could be extended
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
if we have another COVID thing or something.
Oh, come on,
Oh,
Dennis.
hush.
I remember a couple years ago when we had COVID and you guys didn't have anybody out there on Sundays hardly.
Well,
They're all coming in the back door.
they remember the government said,
Yeah.
don't meet or you could be fined.
Yeah.
So what people don't know. I'm letting the cat out of the bag.
No. This is being recorded.
We still didn't work it. We're not gonna work it.
Alright. Nathan, we have any other business tonight?
Just wanted to say thanks to those of you who attended last night's training session. We had, I think, 16 or 17 people total, so decent turnout out of 49 potential members.
Every
So
intention of coming out too.
good discussion. I'll be sending out the slides that we're talking about tomorrow, most likely, before the end of the week at least, for everybody's reference. So the next training session is going to be in June, and the topic will be about ethics, unless we come up with a more pressing topic.
Could you just call me when and I'll walk up here and get them. Don't mail them. Don't waste money on mailing them.
Get what?
The slides or the papers that you're gonna send out.
It won't be hard copy. It'll be email.
Email. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's easy.
Yeah.
So far.
If you would like to have a hard copy, let me know. We'll do it that way.
I would really like to have a hard copy.
Okay. We can do that for
You
you.
don't have to mail it, I will pick it
up. But yeah, otherwise, wanted to say thanks, and I believe we do have a couple items. Well, the item that was continued, potentially, I think we already have another file.
Variance.
Yeah, so anticipate yet another meeting in a row. We're keeping you guys busy.
Okay.
Just a question. Will we get the permit mailed to us, or do I need to pick it up somewhere? How does that work?
You'll want to stop by the office. Stop by tomorrow.
Thank you.
Alright.
Movie adjourned.
I second that.
Tony's in trouble. Cause his wife thought he was supposed to be here, so I don't know where he's at.
Are you officially adjourned?
We're adjourned.
Okay.